new product development has a rhythm to it, maybe a heartbeat if you think of it that way. And having worked in a variety of industries and worked with just countless companies, I see and can feel this heartbeat. And so I've drawn a little picture here to give you an idea of how that works with a couple tools. When you're very upfront in a new product development, users are doing all kinds of things. There's all these opportunities for ideas, suggestions on how products that might be needed, how to improve on existing things. And all that stuff floats out there and it's constantly expanding. The big divergent phase of just an idea generation. When you focus down into a particular area and you start defining what that opportunity looks like, then a lot of those trade-offs, actually QFD helps narrow it in, and so that's a convergent thinking phase. And so somewhere through there, requirements get written, the user story gets refined and narrowed down. And again, QFD as a tool can help you through that path. If you're not familiar with QFD, I have a video on my YouTube channel here as well talking about that. So you have that early convergent thinking or divergent thinking of idea generation, gathering, and then narrowing it down in a convergent way. Then that heartbeat returns. Now, how can we create a solution to those requirements? What are our conceptual approaches? What are our architectures we may need to implement to do that? Again, a very divergent phase. The trees tools, or TRIZ, some people pronounce it, creativity tools, but trees being a big one. Again, a very expansive or divergent thinking phase of a project. And then all of a sudden, once you're out there and decide that this is the limit of ideas we need to, as far as an approach, and start narrowing in again, set-based design is something that the Toyota production system they've talked about. And frankly, a lot of people have used in various methods along the way, maybe not calling it exactly set-based design, but the idea is to gradually reduce. You may start off with 8 concepts, you down select to 3 or 4, and then you advance those, pick a winner or 2 winners to continue further development on. So as you go through that set-based design, it's a narrowing in, and again, a convergent phase. And then when you pick that one, now you're really getting into even lower level of detail, fully developing all functionality of your prototype. Again, expanding material selection, expanding options. And that prototype design, again, as you start selecting all the fasteners and all the other things that might be involved, it's a very expansive phase again, a very divergent phase. Then design experiments could have fit up here with the set-based design phase, narrowing in the concepts, but also can narrow in your prototype design. And you can imagine how this heartbeat continues with manufacturing processes, which are part of the prototype design, but then even expanding more on the production design and production processes. There's another heartbeat, divergent, convergent phase there. So there's that heartbeat of product development. And I think a hugely important thing to keep in mind here is that certain people are good at the convergent side, some people are good at the divergent side, some people, the ideal people, are good at both. But even the people that are good at both, and I consider myself fairly good at both sides, you can't do both in one sitting. So if I recognize a project's at a expanding phase, I let that run. When we get to that point, we at least take a break. If not, come back another day. Maybe come back another week, depending upon the pace of the project. So it's a heartbeat, but you can't convergent and divergent. That's flatline. There's no heartbeat there. You have to allow that phase to expand, then allow that phase to contract. I worked with a gentleman once upon a time, great conceptor, had multiple patents, great idea guy. I was done working with him, the project we had defined that we worked on together, he had just brilliant ideas. We had a blast working together. The next assignment he had, and he was model employee. The next assignment he was a designer, and so he was asked to design brackets for electrical boxes. And absolutely not a divergent type approach. It was an idea approach. It was narrowed in and hole size and hole spacing and how long is the bracket and where's a flat spot on the wall to mount it. And during that phase of his career, he was a horrible employee, not motivated. It was a very convergent phase. It was narrowing in, it was the details. So recognize that people are going to be good at one side or the other, sometimes both. Sometimes you need some carryover of people just for the continuity of the original idea. But realize that could be a completely different team from phase to phase. If you force people through both, it's going to be really awkward and probably stressful for some. Let people like the bracket guy drop off. Let him come back to the next divergent phase. Think about your team. Think about this heartbeat. Think about the tools that fit in. There's clearly more tools that can fit into this process. But understand that heartbeat, understand people's nature, and people that can be that continuity to flow through both, that can work in the divergent and convergent phase. Those are the people you really need. If you, just to keep that continuity, if you need some help with this heartbeat, if you're trying to get away from being flatlined and get that heartbeat, get that rhythm, and once that rhythm's going, it can fly. You actually save time by recognizing this heartbeat. If you want that heartbeat, either direction, give us a call at Perry Solutions. We can help you create that heartbeat. We can help you apply these tools at the proper time with the proper team so that your new product development can achieve the objectives you have.